Guys, well, of course, Rachel Brantingham here with your weekly Hardin local housing update. And we want to take a close look at what's happening in the Hardin County housing market, and more importantly, what those trends mean for our local community. So this week's headline is lower interest rates and stronger pending activity suggest buyers remain committed to homeownership in Hardin County. So I want to dive into the stats for this week. So we have 34 new listings that came to the market over the past week. All of this information, of course, is from the Heart of Kentucky Association of Realtors MLS. Also, the details that I'm bringing you are specific from June 19th to June 16th, okay? So last week we had 18 homes go pending. This week we had 30 homes go pending, and 25 families moved into their new homes. We are at 401 active homes available for sale, and we've had 133 homes sold over the last 30 days. That puts us at 3 months worth of inventory on the market. As I've mentioned multiple times, anything over 5 months of inventory on the market puts us in a buyer's market. Anything under 5 months puts us in a seller's market. So we're currently sitting at that 3 months of inventory. So it's a great place to be for sellers. There's still a lot of opportunity out there, however, for buyers. Average days on market is currently 73. We've bounced around in the low 70s now for over a month and a half. So we're holding very steady. That makes me very excited. Average list price climbed to $364,386. Okay. So our average list price in comparison to the average sold price, this is the coolest part here. The average list price went up to $364,386. The average sold price reached $351,683. That is continuing the trend of strong pricing throughout Hardin County. With approximately 3 months of inventory, it's staying healthy. As you can see here, look how tight that gap is. So sellers, you're making more for your homes right now than you have consistently year to date. So this is a great time for sellers. One of the most encouraging things we're seeing this week is the rebound in pending activity. Like I mentioned, just 1 week ago, we had 18 homes go under contract. This week, that number jumped to 30. We have had some higher interest rates there for a minute. They were kind of in the higher sixes. Those have started to trend down. And in fact, the lender partners that I work closely with, they actually expect to see those maybe even pop down in the high fives, depending on how the negotiations continue with kind of everything going on overseas. But we have had clients lock in as low as a 6.1 over the past week. So those interest rates are finally getting relief. I don't know, however, that really has as much direct impact on the overall market. And here's why. I haven't been hearing that we're going to wait and buy when the rates improve. That really isn't a topic of discussion any further. What they are saying is we'll buy when we find the right home. And I think that's very important. You know, we've seen consistently now, month over month, the market continue to improve. I think buyers have really settled into the understanding that this is kind of the average norm, and rates are going to be a bit higher, probably for most of the foreseeable future. I don't know that we'll ever see threes again. Maybe not in our lifetime anyway. It would be a manufactured thing that would just really be hard to replicate. However, 4s and 5s and 6, I think we'll see those consistently as the cycle of the market continues. So, but we aren't seeing buyers holding off as much as they used to. We heard that continuously. We're going to wait for rates to come back down. People are now saying, hey, we're just looking for the right deal in the right house. Of course, I wanted to talk a little bit about that trend where the gap from list to sold. It tells us two things. First, sellers are pricing more strategically. So I think this is a big part of this. I think sellers have come to terms with the fact that they aren't getting post-COVID pricing for their homes. I think sellers are being very aggressive with their list price, but buyers remain highly committed. Once they find the right home, they're acting decisively. One thing that has changed is where the negotiation happens. Instead of just purchase price, buyers are focusing on repairs, seller paid closing costs, home warranties, and terms that fit their family's goals. In a lot of ways, it's really just a return to a more traditional, healthy market condition. We're also seeing sellers approach the market differently. They're investing in repairs, fresh paint, staging, landscaping, and thoughtful prep before listing. The homes generating the strongest activity are the ones where sellers did the work up front. Preparation matters, presentation matters, and buyers notice and they respond. A little bit about the different price points in our market. So under 250,000, there are 99 active homes on the market. And average days on market is 66. As I've mentioned previously, this is the fastest segment of our market. So if you're buying in this price point, you're going to have to be a bit more aggressive. Between 250 and 400, there's 193 homes on the market. Big drop in days on market, though, in this category. Last week, we were up around 100. It is reduced down to 74. So we're seeing some activity there pretty build. Over 400,000, there's 114 with average days of 78. In the luxury market, there's over 800,000. There's only 13 homes to choose from with 88 days on market. Of course, keeping in mind, that's not always the case in reality. That's what the MLS represents. But as luxury agents, we do things just a little bit differently to keep those updated and refreshed. Going down, one of the things that kind of remains true about our market condition is the military influence in our communities. So we're so grateful. Fort Knox and our military community, they are constantly creating a churn in our market. And we are so grateful for them because they keep our market strong. The stability continues to serve our community well. So here's kind of what I'm watching for this next week, guys. I'm watching two things. Will improving rates keep building momentum among buyers already committed to a move? And does the rebound in pending activity confirm that the earlier slow periods that we've seen was simply seasonal? And my suspicion is we're seeing exactly what a healthy summer market looks like. Periods of acceleration, periods of pause, and buyers moving forward when the timing is right for their families. So thank you guys for tuning in to Hardin Local. I'm Rachel Brantingham, and I'll see you next week with another look at the Hardin County housing market.
Rachel's got the number.
Great. So do you think that the real story that the slowdown was just summer, or is it something else moving buyers right now?
I really think it's summer. As I'm monitoring it, there's not really any major things that stand out that would cause a huge change. Interest rates are constantly fluctuating. There might have been a knee-jerk impact that was momentary to them going up to like the 6.75 number. And then we might see some of that recovering as people are locking in a little bit lower in the sixes. But even then, we were still seeing, 18 homes go pending. So I do think there is a huge piece of it that is based on like that seasonal activity of kids getting out of school and graduation parties, and people are really busy with weddings. And so personally, I'm not seeing anything that indicates anything other than just these minor seasonal just ups and downs. I think we're in a very steady summer market going forward.
All right. Well, thank you, Rachel. Appreciate you jumping on for that. Are you going to stick around for Britton and Michelle's review, or are you going to jump off?
I would love to, guys. I've got to run.
Okay. Well, we will see you next week. Be safe out there.
Thanks, guys.
I'm out too.
See you guys. Bye. All right, Britton and Michelle. See you, John. I didn't realize you just said that. Bye, John. Let's get these. Let's make everybody a little bigger since there's not as many of us out here today, right? Move you guys up here.